Okay.
Save that for therapy.
Hello and welcome to the good people of the city of Philadelphia and beyond.
Yeah, that's City Pigeon's theme song. That's a bop right there. I like that.
Wait, did you say a bop or a bot?
A bop.
A bop. Is that what they say?
That's
I've heard that.
Some people. I think some people say that. I don't know.
My bad. Yo, my bad. I feel like, guys, first of all, it's been some time since we congregated. If we miss a week or two, it feels like a long time. And I think that speaks to the relationships we built. I missed you guys somehow. You think I might be annoyed after 103 episodes, but no, I still love you guys. And so it's great to see everybody. I do feel a little bit like the holiday season this year is kind of like BS to me because this late Thanksgiving is totally screwing up my whole approach.
Christmas is in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man, and you know,
condenses the holiday experience.
Yeah, and I want to explore this a little further, but I wanted to ask you guys. I wanted to make sure everyone had a good Thanksgiving and see if there was any anecdotes that anybody had any funny interactions with their families or anything we should know about Thanksgiving. Everyone had a good Thanksgiving, yes.
I had a great Thanksgiving.
Sure. And by the way, let's just go ahead. I always fail to do this. I am Jesse Rendell, your host amongst others for the City Pigeons podcast. To my left is the Honorable Mike Meach. Meach, how we doing?
Doing great.
Back in your normal saddle.
To my right, Tom Henneman.
I like to switch it up.
It's
like getting dropped in the batting order. I'm back over here.
I don't think we say this enough. Tom Henneman, one of the founders of a Philadelphia institution in the business that is Federal Donuts. Tom, thank you for bringing that to the great people
Always.
It expands all over the place. We are happy to see that. And let's head over here to the pseudo think tank where we got a couple buddies hanging out. Fink, Mark, guys, how are we? Thanksgiving, good.
This is like a preview of this weekend's Steelers.
I was going to say, who do we play this week?
Yeah, get back.
He has his reasons, and we will get into that. No doubt about it. But what I was saying earlier, this whole late Thanksgiving thing is not fair, especially to the people who have children. You're trying to plan Christmas. You've barely gotten over Thanksgiving, and you have to try to figure out what you're getting for Christmas. And the whole order, we're now all ordering presents online, which is kind of a shame, right? A lot of small businesses are suffering. Sorry for that. But, I had this experience. Do you guys, all right, everybody gets the Instagram ads for stuff when you're looking at things. And my kid plays a lot of basketball. So what do? I send him
basketball.
Well, here's the thing.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Because I almost fell for it.
All right. I send him
it is good though.
But wait, I send him every Instagram post of some guy talking about how you got to get up early. And if if your screen time is more than your practice time, that's my whole
an hour before your game.
Yeah. So I'm sending him that. Meanwhile, I'm getting all these ads for the silent basketball. We have a problem in my house. He has one of these, hoops in his room that he couldn't even dunk on a couple years ago. And now he can do windmill 360s and that's all good. But his sister is in the room next door.
You're too loud.
Right? Yeah. And he's banging the ball and he's dunking. So I see the silent basketball. Well,
it's great.
Oh, wait.
Right?
All right, Mark, how is the silent basketball?
Great.
Amazing. Okay. So here's the deal. I see the silent basketball, right? I'm like, I think I should get this. I order it. Then I get the email that says, due to high demand or whatever, this isn't going to come for 18 to 28 days, right? So my point is this. I do not like this late Thanksgiving. It's screwing all the parents trying to get stuff shipped in. It's really pissed me off. And I found out next year it's late again. So at least this year we will learn from this experience and be ready because condensing that whole pre-Christmas thing into 2 to 3 weeks, very difficult for us to manage. You guys agree, right?
Well, listen, I had a similar experience because I just had a conversation with my wife the other day. I said, listen, it's getting late here. It was December 9th, I think, the other day or it was Monday when I talked to her. I said, we order now. We can't rely on UPS and the post office to get the shit here. They don't give a fuck about us. We have to start ordering everything today. So we went on an ordering spree. I ordered 15 things, and I think 13 of them got there the very next day. I don't know if they're on point this year, but I ordered from Dick's Sporting Goods, some sneaker shop in
The
New
Natics.
York. Dick's is great. Like because pause. Jesus Christ.
You said Dick's is great, so you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I didn't
You're not- you
specify.
don't-
Maybe I was talking about my own dick.
Am I alone
Or
in-
Dick's
Come on.
whatever. Anyway,
I really got you thinking about dicks, huh?
they got there the very next day. I was like, shit, what do I have to worry about? I said, we got plenty of time. I'm like, no, we got 2 weeks to worry about this shit now.
Can I just say the last episodes we like diverged into a conversation about erectile dysfunction, and I don't want to see us go down the same path. Okay.
Especially this early.
Yeah.
It's very
Now-
Does anyone else get like anxiety when the boxes start showing up every day at the house and you're just like, oh my God, I don't even know who ordered this, where it's coming from, how much it costs.
Where
And
we're
I
gonna
get
hide
that,
it?
like I like become a Scrooge. I'll admit it.
I will say this. I think we are a victim of the times we live in, how easy it is to order stuff. If you're not paying attention, I actually started a note in my phone that is like tracking how much I'm spending. Because if you don't do that, you end up with like 20 or 30 things. You're like, oh my gosh, there goes the vacation that we were going to go on. Now, a question I have.
Maybe worse to track how much you're spending.
It's not good. It's not good. I like to think I'll get less. But what about the whole like boxes arriving thing with the kids? So I have an advantage because my dad lives next door to me. So I will just have everything delivered to his house and then hide it over there. Hopefully my kids aren't paying attention to this. How do you guys handle that situation? Because some of the boxes come and it says it's coming from, the place you ordered it
Don't
from.
go into the basement of Federal Donuts at 7th Street or South Street during the holiday season.
There you go. Or
Wow, I'm
do go
Christmas
in there.
shopping on South
Yeah,
Street.
do go in there.
Yeah, I think for the most part, my kids are clueless. Like stuff will come, I'll just bring. I have boxes stacked. I think they're kind of used to that because of how many sneakers I used to get. So like,
Right.
oh, these are probably just daddy sneakers. Which I wanna tell
Start it up.
the audience right here. I haven't bought one pair of sneakers in 2024. Not one
shocking.
pair of sneakers. I bought one pair of Crocs in 2024, but 0 sneakers for an entire year, which probably hasn't been done since, I don't know, 1996. Maybe never. I don't think there's ever been a year where I haven't bought a pair of
Okay.
sneakers.
So my question to you is that a result of the fact that you deliberately held back, or I'm guessing it's more because you haven't been inspired by what's been available?
Not inspired even a little bit. I don't like any releases, even like the Jordan Cement 3s.
You already had those, right?
Which are pretty much my favorite sneaker ever. They came out last month, and I already have them, and they're in great condition. So I'm not getting another pair to stack on top of the other one that I still haven't worn from 2017 or whatever the fuck it came
Well, that
out.
ties into your beef with Nike and their inability to kind of keep up.
Right.
with-
You know how many times this year I was thinking to myself, I was like, I should just get a pair of On Clouds and just
The Rittenhouse
give up.
funds. You can't do
Just
it. Please
give
do
it
not.
up.
Please do not.
Because
How many
I see like the dads at my son's basketball games, and they're all wearing On Clouds, and I'm like,
All right.
these guys look so comfortable. And
You also talked about getting a pair of Hokas.
same
which would
thing. I
be
mean, it's the
like
same thing. It's all
really stepping
relative.
out of your normal
It's-
thing.
It's because Nike fumbled the running game so bad to let these companies become revolutionary with the technology for running and just completely ruin them. Like Nike used to be the top of the line, everything running, every Olympic runner, every
Only hold on for so
marathon
long,
runner.
though, man.
Not really. Not if Nike has the resources where they could hang on forever, which goes to show you today they signed with the NFL till 2038, which they have the money to link up and hook up with guys. But a lot of these brands were designed by Nike people who left them
Right.
and created their own shit because they're like, these guys aren't innovative anymore.
So related, when you said, is it One Cloud?
On Cloud.
On Cloud. Okay.
OC.
I bought
On-
my wife a pair of On Clouds. Now my wife teaches
Jones.
Pilates, and she's in the mix with a lot of people that are doing fitness activities. And she was like, "No, I don't want to be one of those people." And I was like, "Really?" I was
Thank
like,
you.
"Okay, all right." So I
Good
learned
for
a
her.
little something there.
Good for her.
That's good.
The Rittenhouse ones
And-
are entirely overrated.
I got some. I've had a couple pairs of the Hokas because I like to dip into the Wissahickon, do some hiking, which
Same,
they're great for.
same, They're great for that.
But then I wore them when I was playing like tennis, and I was like, "That's not a good idea. Like they're too soft and too big." Anyway, I don't know how we got here.
While
You
we're
did say something interesting. though.
while we're on the
Is
sneaker
it true
conversation,
that Nike offshoots started these other brands. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're all designers that were poached, or either not poached from Nike. Like I remember Adidas poached a couple Nike basketball sneaker designers, which didn't work out great for Adidas back then. But a lot of the Nike running shoe designers had their own ideas that weren't, I guess, Nike didn't appreciate them, so they went and just started their own brands. And
Okay, and on that note, we have to acknowledge the fact that we have this.
I have a pair of classic De La Soul Nike Dunks sitting here, which were gifted to me as today, as a matter of fact. A couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago, on a tailgate episode, Mark's assistant's husband, Mike from Bridesburg, he's a great dude.
He's
Great
amazing.
dude.
He's the
I didn't know,
best.
but at the time,
Shout out, Mike.
I didn't know who he was.
Anything you need, Mike's got it.
It was pouring rain at this
Anything.
tailgate, and I noticed a guy wearing a pair of De La Soul Dunks, and I go, "Yo, this guy's crazy! He's in pouring rain. He's wearing De La Dunks. I would keep it." And it was the first time he ever wore them. He came up to me later. He's like, "Yeah, man, thanks for saying." He goes, "I haven't worn them since, and I'm going to give these to you next time I see it." I was like, "Dude, you don't have to give me the sneakers." He's like, "No, man." He's like, "I got a lot of sneakers. You're a size 12. You could take these. They're all yours next time I see it." I was like, "Dude, that's incredible gesture, but you don't have to do it." Now, this was a few weeks ago, and Mark came tonight, and a man of his word, Mike from Bridesburg, you're pretty much my favorite human right now. This is my only pair of sneakers of this year, and probably my only Christmas gift. So thank you, Mike from Bridesburg.
Hell yeah,
I'll
Mike.
cherish these.
Amazing.
They're gorgeous, man. They're a great colorway. They're an ode to a
So
3 Feet High and Rising, which is a classic album, and I freaking love them.
you know what's happened to me that's been bad, and you guys, a couple years ago, you got me back into the whole sneaker thing after years of not paying any attention, for better or worse, and now I've got boxes in my closet stacking up. But
now you got Dean stacking up.
yeah, I got the whole thing. But I realized that a good friend of mine is involved with the Nocturnal Skate Shop. I'm wearing one of the Nocturnal
Wu-Tang shirts. That's a beautiful hoodie.
I mean, they got so much good stuff. And I'm a big fan of the skate shop, the surf shop. Like these are the like last remaining.
They're the lifeline.
Like honestly,
absolutely.
the small business.
Independent.
Yeah, where like
shops.
you go to just be there and hang out. Nocturnal has been around for years and years and years. A friend of mine, Brandon, is one of the owners of the shop. But I started realizing they get the Nike SB Dunk releases like separately before, right? And so I saw these I like these really cool dunks that came. They were on the sneakers app. It's like coming out like November 3rd. And on Nocturnal's Instagram, it's like they just dropped in the shop.
Yeah.
I head right over there. I'm like, boom, and I got them like a month before they even come out on sneakers. So anyway, shout out Nocturnal. Those guys are the best. And I have bought some sneakers in 2024. Nothing crazy, but what I learned from you, having a nice arsenal that you can wear some for different times. You know what I mean? I just actually broke out the Jordan 4s, the cement, the all gray. I wore it to the Eagles game the other day for the first time. No one really cares about this, but it's fun. We're having a good time talking about it.
No,
It's not like there's nothing else going on in Philadelphia.
This.
There's nothing else going on in Philadelphia. But no, it's been fun getting into that whole mix. Those are incredible shoes. I do now have a little bit of a sneaker envy.
But shout out, Mike.
Shout out, Mike.
Forever indebted to you, my man.
Shout out, Mike.
Wait,
Always a home here.
before we move on from the holiday shopping, am I alone in that I still love a good trip to the mall?
There's nothing better. Like I'm trying to schedule one tomorrow. Like I don't get many days off on the month of December, and tomorrow my wife and I both have off, and I was like, let's go to the Cherry Hill Mall. Like there's a Dick's up there. We could hit that and then go to the Cherry Hill Mall. But it's not the same because you go there and they don't have the inventory. It's all the shit is like bare bones. Some of the stores aren't even open. It's really sad to go through. But I wish I could go back to when. Now, really quick, I was watching Black Friday. I was home working and I was watching one of those news channels was showing King of Prussia Mall that morning, and then they were showing it from 10 years ago.
All
And
different.
it was like when it opened at 5 a.m. or whatever, you couldn't even get a spot in the parking lot yet. And these people, it's like 7 a.m. and they're walking through the mall, and stores haven't even bothered to open. It's just a different world. And I mean, I'm an
So-
old head, I'm a boomer, whatever you want to call me, but I hate it. I hate it.
I still do most of my Christmas shopping in the store at the mall. Like I go
Good
there.
for you.
But how? Like, which?
It's not as fun, like you said. Like half the stores.
Yeah,
aren't there.
nobody's there. It used to be
It's
like
rough.
I remember me and my buddy Bry went to King of Prussia Mall when we were like 19 years old on Black Friday to go Christmas shopping, and the Lord and Taylor in there had a bar. Neither of us were of age. It was like fucking 9:30 in the morning. We were like in the men's section, and then all of a sudden there's a little secret bar there. We walk into there, and there's a guy bartender in there. We're like, can we get 2 shots of whiskey? We didn't like whiskey back then. We didn't want to
Almost
drink.
puked.
We almost. I mean, it was probably really bad. Like I don't. But we were shopping at 9:30 a.m. on Black Friday and got shots.
You know,
at
it's
Lord
funny.
and Taylor's bar.
We didn't have the an episode right after that week, and so there's some Black Friday stuff that's coming to my mind. You know what pisses me off about Black Friday now, and this is kind of like a fanatics
No
thing.
more fights.
No, this is like a fanatics thing.
I miss this.
When you go, it's like all marked down, Black Friday, and you click on it, and like it's 10% off, like select stuff.
Yeah, that's
you
not
put
a
some of your
deal.
cards like excluded
Yeah, right.
from the
That's
sign.
not
Like,
included.
come on.
Anything
Like, what
good is excluded.
So
Yeah,
you're just
what
trying to
are you talking
aggravate
about?
me.
So
It's
all
awful.
I was going to say is, Tom, you mentioned the old school mall.
Yeah.
I love the old school mall. I grew up, I would go out to the Willow Grove Mall.
Yeah.
That was like our spot. Now, there's like the old school mall that's captive and indoors, and then there's the new school mall. So, Meech mentions Cherry Hill Mall. I got you, Jesse. Don't worry.
Around here. No, you go.
Meech mentions Cherry Hill Mall. The Cherry Hill Mall is sort of like a new school mall. Like, there's stuff outside, there's stuff inside. Like, to me, the mall experience is that indoors captive. You go in the doors of the mall, you come out 6 hours later, it's dark out, and you've been like, you eat in the food court. Do food courts even exist?
Yeah, Cherry
anymore?
Hill Mall is a legit mall. The outside shit is just like Willow Grove has a Dick's outside of there, or just on the perimeter.
Well, you can
Oxford
get in and
Valley
out
has
of
a
it
Dick's
from the
on
mall.
the perimeter.
Yeah.
No, you can't get in and out from the mall. It's like in a separate
Really?
realm of it. All 3 of those malls do have a,
Well,
have a
like-
Dick's right outside.
Like I know you go to
but
like Plymouth meeting.
I
you can
recently
go.
went to Willow Grove. It was whack.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. man.
Neshaminy Mall is like bare bones. There's nothing left in it. It looks like they got tumbleweeds rolling through the
Franklin
mall.
Mills.
Franklin Mills, Northeast
Can
Korea.
I ask you how you feel about the name change?
Franklin Mall now they
It's
call it.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. They changed Franklin Mills, which was the perfect
To
name, no
Philadelphia
reason to change it,
Mills.
to Philadelphia Mills, which nobody called it. Now they rechanged it to Franklin Mall. Like, dude, you had it. It was Franklin Mills. Just go back to that. What's Franklin? Nobody's going to call it anything other than Franklin Mills ever. But nobody even calls it anything anymore because no one goes.
You
there.
guys remember
It's
that?
like East River Drive and Kelly Drive. Who the fuck calls it Kelly Drive?
East
It's
River Drive.
I actually call it nothing but Kelly Drive, but it doesn't matter. I drive down Kelly Drive all the time. Do you guys remember when there was a skate park in Franklin Mills by chance?
Yeah.
There was a gigantic. I thought that was
Right
freaking
next
cool.
to
It was
the,
Not a profitable
Dave and
thing,
Buster's and
apparently.
that Chinese food. Place.
Not
Remember
a
that with the-
profitable thing.
It had a fish
Okay.
tank in the
Well,
middle.
You know,
The Buddha.
Earlier, whoever runs the City Pigeons Twitter posted that you knew what we were going to talk about tonight, but
You
we
know
would,
who runs the City Pigeons
we would-
Twitter?
we would-
Luigi fucking
Yeah.
whatever his name is. He runs the City Pigeons Twitter.
Yeah.
Anything I haven't heard from him in a few days. Anything happened?
it went dark.
Yeah.
No, but
Fucking Luigi.
you know, this person said that we knew what we were going to talk about. We would veer off that wildly, and we've already succeeded in doing that. No, but today our episode 104 is called "Save the Drama," which is
your
a
mama.
reference to the wonderful phrase that we all grew up with: "Save the drama for your mama." And we kind of wish that the Eagles and AJ Brown specifically would have saved the drama
I love
for.
how you said we all grew up with that
His
phrase. Like
mama.
I've never said it before.
Nah, but I'm just saying, no one
we
says
all
it
grew up with
anymore.
it.
You know what I meant, all right? You
I
know
did,
what I meant.
did.
You know what I meant. Anyway, point is this: I hate weeks like this where the entire conversation in the Philly sports landscape is dominated by speculation as
It's really
to like
annoying.
who hates who and what's going on. But the thing about it is this: as much as I hate it, this is not a typical case of us just being negative, despite the fact that our team is 11-2 on a 9-game winning streak, because you have to see the entire context here. And after what happened last year, right, we all speculated as to why.
At this time last year, we had 10 wins instead of 11.
10 wins. And by the way, there were a lot of people who
Correct.
there were a lot of people who were saying, hey, doesn't matter how you win, a win's a win. And by the way,
That was me.
we did, listen,
He went,
we did beat, in that run, we had beat the Bills.
By the way, Fink's little prediction run,
I know,
that was
I know.
pretty much a joke, I'm
Fink.
assuming.
It was
but it was
not a
correct.
joke.
All right, hold on.
I mean,
so
now it's-
we had a schedule release episode, and we did this
In May.
thing where Fink went through the schedule. And he said, win,
Homer
win,
Fink.
win. And now it's proving to be correct. Fink, your
W.
comments.
By one win.
W.
You're off by one
W.
win?
I had him at 11-12-1. I'm off by one.
We have to check the
I
tape.
had him losing.
You're a
to the Ravens.
Saquon Barkley
W.
drop away from a perfect prediction.
W.
Seriously, Meech is good. Meech is freaking good.
It's the only
Good.
bad play he's made all year.
Good, dude.
So anyway,
Looking out for you, Fink.
there's reason. Last year we had won some amazing games, but there were a lot of people who were saying it's smoke and mirrors. And then that ended up becoming the case, right? It ended up being like all the people who were like, well, if you just look at the way they're playing and the way they're winning, this isn't really a good formula. And they went downhill. And a lot of people speculated that had something to do with rifts in the team and AJ and Jalen. And there was a lot that was speculated there. We obviously don't know because we're not in the freaking locker room. And I think most of us thought this was a different year because you could just see the way the team was playing. There was that 2022 vibe, like almost that like 2017 vibe where they were like all together, good on both sides of the ball. And then we had the situation in the game the other day with
Until the
AJ.
Carolina, you believe the Carolina Panthers are the team that caused the rift in
Listen, the
that
Panthers have been playing
bothers
hot. They should have beat the Chiefs the week before.
But they're at home.
So I need to speak to this because Blake said in the chat that BG made everything significantly worse. So Monday night, I'm at an event that is part of the work that I do for the Make the World Better Foundation. It's called Team Dinner. It's the second year we've had it. It's a collaboration between the Make the World Better Foundation and Connor Barwin and Chris Long and the Chris Long Foundation. Fantastic event. Shout out to Steak 48 for donating the entire restaurant, all the food and drink to make an incredible event. So we're at this event, and I've gotten to know Dave Spadaro very well. He's on the board to Make the World Better, and he does he MCs every event we have because he's just great at it, and it's super easy. So he's MCing the event, and last year we had the event. Actually, it's funny. There's so many tie-ins to this whole situation. Last year, the event was the Monday after the San Francisco game, right? Which I said we should do this after the San Francisco game because there's so much bad blood there. That game is going to be so hype. It's going to be great. Well, you guys know we lost to San Francisco. That was the beginning of the end. But the one good thing that happened last year, that was the game where Big Dom had the altercation on the sideline, right? So who shows up to the event last year? Big Dom. Big Dom comes in, does a lap around the restaurant. I mean, it was like
He's like a hero. I
Yeah,
remember that.
it was like
We
Michael.
were all there last
Yeah,
year.
it was like Michael Jackson was in the room. It was unbelievable, right? So this year, Big Dom shows up
Except
again.
he was high-fiving a dog.
I knew that was going to come. I knew that was going to come out. That's fine. All right. So Big
Why'd you say
Dom,
Michael Jordan.
Big Dom shows up this year, and I'm talking to somebody, and they go, "Oh man, it's." And this is Monday night, which is the night BG has his radio show. BG had come to the event last year after his show, and I hear, "Oh man, people are upset." BG said something, and I'm like, "I don't know what's going on. This doesn't sound good." And lo and behold, turns out, and BG ended up showing up at the event. He came right from right from doing a show, and he had said what he said, and I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on because I'm doing this event, but I'm like, this doesn't sound good if people are pissed off about it. And so the whole thing just turned into a powder keg. And the good news, I guess, is
He
that
was really happy at the event.
who?
BG.
Yeah, well,
I
I
had
mean,
no idea until the next day.
I mean,
he
he's a-
didn't let on.
he's a pretty happy guy, generally speaking. I think.
My favorite thing was the next day was everyone trying to interpret his comments. Like everyone had a different. They're like when he said one needs it was like, dude, it's not that deep. There's obviously something going on between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's because Jalen Hurts has no emotions and he's very level-headed, and AJ Brown is a wide receiver in the NFL, and they're inherently crazy.
And they inherently just want the damn
But he's
ball.
not. He's not. I don't want to. That was a bad wording. He's not crazy. He wants the fucking ball.
Yeah.
And if you target him 0 times against a shitty team, he's like, why?
Correct.
And
And
what
I
are we
agree.
doing here? Like, what's going on here? I'm streaking down the field wide open and no one sees me. Like, why is this happening? And
Okay.
Because Jalen can't work through his progressions.
So I think something is there because like Brandon Graham doesn't pull something out thin air. And today Baldy was on the radio, said he talked to Jason Kelsey, who also said that it's blown
yeah,
out of proportion.
I heard that same conversation. It was
But
a weird
It
conversation.
was blown out of proportion, but there is something there. And like the way I see it is like, here's the thing: if you have a friend, because everyone's saying they're best friends, if you go with a friend and you go and work with him, and he's in charge of like he's your manager,
He controls.
and
right.
you have a bad day at work, you're gonna say some passive aggressive shit towards your friend. You can be friends with your friend and be like, yeah, that was it. Like you can pass it and just say shit like that. Like you can be annoyed at your friend for you having a shit day at work because he's in charge of it. And I think it's basically that. It's just that it's the NFL. There's millions of dollars. There's so much more involved.
Here's my main
It's just
question
blown off.
on the looking at it from the Eagles fan standpoint. Is this a thing where Jalen Hurts is afraid to make mistakes and he's just not making the throw? Like, I'd rather not make the throw than turn the ball over and just try and manage the game. Like, it actually reminds me of some Russell Wilson type shit, like the quarterback he's facing this weekend. Except
Who's
Russell,
killed us, by the way.
who's killed us, but because when Russell Wilson gets people chasing him, he just throws the fucking ball away, which is what Jalen doesn't do.
He's gotten better at that, but he was
I don't think
bad
he
in the
has.
last
He's
game.
been I would say, like you were talking about the conservatism the last game, he instead of like throwing the ball away, he'll go down. What was that word?
Conservatism?
Talk guys.
Just keep going.
It,
Keep going, but
Fight
you're
through
good.
it was
it.
good.
Fight through it.
You're good.
It was good. Oh, there it
He's
goes.
done. we do it.
So like I was just
Sorry, man.
No, keep going.
My fault's going.
Keep going.
I was trying to go too far to my fault's
That's
going.
fine. Keep going.
What were we saying? No, I'm being dead serious. My fault.
Okay, here's what I think you have to worry about if you're an Eagles fan, or at least this is the calculation you have to do. Are you good?
Instead of
Oh, he's got it.
throwing
He got it back.
Instead of throwing the ball, like he saw like no, it was there, he would just go down and let them like.
But that's not necessarily good either. 'Cause
No, I don't think it's.
that happened at the end of the game
Yeah,
last week.
You're losing yards like that.
When,
Right.
when just throw the ball away,
Right.
and instead he goes down. And
And I think they're trying to be too conservative.
Finn, can you raise that mic up a little bit? I'm
Yeah,
just
I
worried
don't
it's a
know,
little
man.
far from you there.
So-
Get your composure.
so here's the
Okay.
question: is this a coaching thing where they're saying, we're going to limit the stuff you're able to do and just keep it within this little circle right here, just so we don't make mistakes? And maybe it's like we're also hiding stuff for the next 4 weeks because we already
Yeah.
clinched a spot, and then
That's
when
ridiculous.
time
They're
comes,
hiding anything.
is it
Okay.
ridiculous?
But let me tell you the way I'm looking at this.
I mean-
let me tell you the way I'm looking at this and what my biggest fear is, right? Because there's one of two things going on here. My biggest fear is that there's a couple things at play. The franchise, and I mean the front office, the coaching staff, they are trying to coach around what they all agree are the limitations of the quarterback, right? Meaning they've said to him, you have to, you can't turn it over. You've got to be conservative. They're calling plays. I heard somebody, and I won't say who it is, refer to him as a half of the field quarterback, meaning he doesn't have the ability to like see the entire field. And I just thought, like, is it possible at this point with Jalen that our coaches, that everyone is like, listen, we have to design things based on the fact that we know he's not going to do X, Y, and Z. And the reason that I bring this up is because we're wondering when AJ says passing and this, that, and the next, is he specifically talking about Jalen Hurts, or is he talking about the approach of the team in general? Is he saying,
Play calls,
listen,
right.
you're not calling plays and designing plays that I'm a focal point on? Or is he saying,
And that's
Jalen
that's
is
what
not-
everyone's been trying to
right.
interpret.
Jalen
like some
is
Shakespeare
not-
shit all week.
right.
Like, who knows? But it's both.
And here's my biggest concern out of all this. My biggest concern is that Jalen Hurts is a much harder person to be a teammate of than we understand. Meaning he is very, and we
Jalen Hurts seems as from the outsider unapproachable as a human. Like unless you're like of his stature or on nearly the same level.
Exactly my point.
He's not going to let you approach him because it's like, hey, I'm the $250 million guy. Go through the coaches if you want to discuss. But AJ Brown seems like someone who could get under his skin, talk to him. Right. Saquon Barkley seems like a leader who could do that, but no one else on the roster.
That's what's so annoying about this. We can only speculate, right?
And part of two of the most unapproachable. I don't want to say leaders because I don't know how good leaders they are.
Yeah, Embiid and Hurts.
The quarterback is
they're very similar,
regardless of
on their teams for their teammates.
Yep.
Embiid and Hurts.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of similarities. They're sort of aloof. They sort of beat to their own drum. The only big difference is that Jalen Hurts is unbelievable in the community, but I'm not going to go down that road again.
Call him out.
I will give a shout out to AJ Brown that bought these kids like anything they wanted in Dick's Sporting Goods today. Like big props. I saw that today. It was really special.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're onto something though. I think like as a quarterback, as unbelievable a talent that Tom Brady is, however you want to look at it, he had this sort of ability to like just be one of the guys. At least he gave the.
But you also saw him flip out on people on the
Yep.
sidelines and get under their skin and tell them what they needed to do. Jalen doesn't do that.
They respected him.
I heard
because they knew he wanted to win more than they did times 10.
I heard
And
a
so
couple things on sports radio this week that kind of annoyed me. Somebody was saying when I didn't even get to watch the Eagles game this week, but someone said when Calcaterra scored his touchdown,
Anytime touchdown, cash it.
Yeah, the only one that went up to him in the end zone was Barkley.
Saquon.
No one else went up to him.
They did a square dance.
Is this true?
I kind of looked. It's not. I went back to the Eagles' own post that they posted it. Barkley goes from the one end zone, runs over the other side. And when he runs over, the team's running off. You see AJ Brown just got done dapping him up, and a couple other players did. So
thanks for that update.
No, I looked it up too because I heard it on the radio too.
And someone else that was
about?
in the crowd was saying, like after every offensive possession, everyone would be sitting on the bench, and AJ Brown would be 10 yards behind him, standing by himself. And it was a girl who called, but she had a good point. She's like, "Listen, you have to have some."
Why did you just say that? Why couldn't you just say a caller? I don't know. I'm just asking questions.
I guess I'm just giving props to this girl for recognizing.
Why you gotta
something.
give her props? You don't respect her.
Because I wouldn't have fucking noticed it. I would have been watching the fucking game and wouldn't have noticed some emotional connection. Maybe you have to be a woman.
But that was my first reaction when I saw this. When I saw AJ, his press conference after the game was like, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? Like, I get you're pissed off. I get you're frustrated. Team is 11-2, 9-game winning streak. Like, go handle that. If you're really about the team, my initial reaction was like, this is like wide receiver diva shit, because I get you're frustrated. I get it. But we're winning games, and we have the best running back in the NFL.
But when you're the best wide receiver and you're not targeted in the first half, you get to be on some diva shit. Like, that's just your –
that you don't have to air it publicly.
It doesn't have to come out like that.
But also – here was the caller's point, which was a very good one in my opinion.
Regardless of gender.
Regardless of gender, it was a good point. When you're standing by yourself behind, if you're the quarterback and you're his best friend, you have to have the emotional intelligence to be like, yo, something's bothering him. Let me go smooth this over. Let me go see what's up. You have to placate these guys, man. This isn't like it's a communication thing. If there's something off, all right, let's get together. Let's figure out what's going on here where we're not in sync. And while you're sprinting down the side of the fucking down the sidelines, and I don't see you wide open for a touchdown.
Okay.
Let's figure this out.
But
quick. Let's get an iPad and sit over here and do the thing.
On that point, I'm not going to blame Nick because I love Nick, but maybe I'll blame Kellen more. Like, you do have to read the room, and you got.
No, this is the thing I was blaming Jalen. He's got to see this.
But you got to give like a hot read slant.
Nick's busy coaching a game. Kellen's
which works
busy coaching
every
a game.
time.
But you got to call a play that's just like going to AJ. Just like give him the ball a couple times.
The first play of the game, they tried to do that. and it went haywire.
I had an idea. You know how he wears the pink cleats? And I always thought he wears the pink cleats so Jalen can see him better. And he probably takes the fine. Or
Well, wear pink gloves and pink helmet and a pink jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Wear everything. Just wear all pink so Jalen can see.
That's brilliant. Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm a little. What really pisses me off is these slow starts and the fact that you see other teams come out. Teams have beaten the Eagles for years on this like short pass, slants, button hooks, quick, this, that, and the next. Why is it that honestly it's got to be like 1 out of 10 plays when he drops back, he can get the ball out quickly to somebody who's
He just
open?
doesn't.
Well, and that's the question. Is he just – I think it's a combination of things. I think he locks in on stuff. I think he feels the pressure, that affects him and brings his eyes down. But my biggest fear is that all of those things are really true, much more than we even know. And they're coaching around those deficiencies in the building that the receivers know about them. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I'm totally speculating.
Well,
That's my biggest concern.
Let me tell you, I'll admit I'm a complete idiot, man. I watch the game but I see when they're all lined up and the DB is 5 yards off of AJ Brown. It's like, why not get under center and just go hut and go like this and throw it to him? It's a guaranteed 7 yards. All right. But I'm an idiot. All right. So at the same time, I watch from PHLY, that dude, Fran Duffy. You ever watch his breakdowns?
Very good.
He's really good. And he sees football how I wish I could see it. I don't have the mental capacity to look at 22 guys.
It's like how you see potential parlays.
It's kind of like it's kind of like when you're Beethoven, you could just same thing. You play the keys and you're like, oh, I'm just fucking in, and he just watches it and he sees like a symphony and he knows where everyone's supposed to go. And Jalen Hurts is fucking everything up. It's all his fault. If according to his shit, his dropbacks are like 4.8 seconds, which are at the bottom of the league. He said, which isn't a bad stat, but you couple it with he gets no downfield passes. Half of them end up in a sack, and the other half end up as incompletions. So he's getting the extra time. He's buying extra time and still not seeing anything. It's bad.
One of the things we haven't discussed about this is the things are very different this year because of the fact that we have Saquon Barkley. Now, and the question becomes, has that led to our coaching staff deliberately changing our approach in a way that's impacted everyone else, or has that allowed them to work around the issues that they're very much concerned about? And I worry that if it's the latter, I worry that when we get into games where we have to play teams that are capable of putting up points, and it's a slugfest, we can't just turn it on.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the thing as a fan, which puts me in a tough position on weeks like this, where it's like, obviously there's some problem, but at the same time they won 9 games, so you're in a conundrum.
You feel bad,
like what
bitching.
What do I
but
think? But you have to think something. But here's the thing: like, do you know that the coaches aren't saying like, Jalen, you got to be conservative here. Don't over. And is it their fault for telling him to be way too conservative, or is it his fault for not trying to do anything extra because he's afraid to make a mistake? I don't know. Number one, because all he does is speak in cliches and he can't be real with you. Number two, the Eagles coaches aren't going to play their hand and tell you anything they're doing. So, I mean, you just have to play it out. It sucks, but you don't know where they're at. 3 weeks ago, he's arguing that Jalen should be the MVP candidate with Saquon. This week, we're talking about he's one of the worst passers in the league.
The reality is, though, when he was taking risks and turning it over, we were losing more games.
Right.
And so now he's.
So I'd rather him be conservative.
And you know what?
Listen, Trent Dilfer won a fucking Super Bowl, man. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl. Well, these guys could be conservative. And what I like about Jalen,
Tom Brady was the best game manager of all time.
No, he was super. Don't put him. He's a goat. He's not in this conversation.
Let Fink step into the conversation.
The worry point about Hurts is like, oh, can Hurts do that if we get him hot? Hurts had one of the best performances, minus the fumble, in the Super Bowl as a quarterback.
Yeah.
We know he can do it, so I don't know why we're just thinking he all of a sudden can't.
But Fink,
that was a few years ago.
You know what? I have a rule. I have a rule. It's the Dominic Brown rule. And that is just because someone did it for a certain period of time doesn't mean, and we've seen that with Carson Wentz. We saw the same thing. You know what the number one thing that is leading me from overreacting to this? And I'll tell you. Go back 4 or 5 weeks. I remember we were going into a stretch that we were going to go play Dallas in Dallas, and then we were going to come back in a short week, and we were going to play the Cowboys. And I remember people saying, "Oh, what do you think about the Eagles?" I said, "You know what? They don't play well in Dallas. Let's go see them beat Dallas. Come back in a short week. If they come back in a short week and beat the Commanders after they're all there, then I'll know." And I see them do that. I said, "All right, that's great. Well, guess what? Now they got to go out to L.A. and they got to play a team that's got their back against the wall. They got to go across country. And then after that, they got to go down to Baltimore."
Meanwhile, these pundits are saying LA is like the favorite now. We whooped their ass in LA.
I'm just saying.
I know.
And by the way, the game against the Ravens was like, you can't ask for a better, more gutsy, complete team performance. And you know what the truth is? If they beat the Panthers, and if this whole AJ thing doesn't happen, we're sitting here going, man, they played down a little bit. They know they got to do better, but we're good. You know what I mean? But now we're like, there's. And by the way, we have last year in the background, but I am looking at that Ravens game and saying to myself, that is what the team's capable of. Now, am I guilty? Am I guilty? Hold up. Am I guilty?
Do we care?
Fine, but if Justin Tucker hits his kicks, let's not even get into the kick
Can I
again.
ask you
No, hold on, real quick. Am I guilty, though, of the same thing that I did last year, which is, we went to Kansas City, we beat Kansas City. We beat Buffalo in overtime in a heroic performance. So we got to be good. And then the bottom falls out. And the truth is, I have no freaking idea.
Well, here's the thing. If you think about it, playing Carolina at home, it's very hard to get up for it. It's almost like we're just going to win this game.
Especially after that Baltimore.
Yeah, we're just going to – and you got Pittsburgh to prepare for in Pittsburgh. Like, we just have to show up on the field here. We just have to show up on the field and we'll win this game. And it didn't exactly happen like that.
Okay.
But this is the NFL. You see this every year. This is especially in the middle of the season. These games get weird. And
they're also
thankfully,
they're also dealing with
Leggett missed that
stress of
catch.
the fact that Christmas and Thanksgiving are closer together, and they got to get the presents.
Right.
And like
Hanukkah doesn't start.
And like, is
until after
Amazon
Christmas.
going to deliver my
Possibly
shit?
the
Yeah,
best
time of
point.
year.
Possibly the best point that's been made. Yeah, go ahead. You're welcome.
So earlier this season, Lane Johnson went to the media and said something about the offense, and the offense had to change, talk about running it. Maybe AJ was just like, "Hey, if it works for Lane, I want to give the ball."
They went and talked to the coach. They didn't come to the media.
He came to the media and said, "I went and talked to the coach." And then today, AJ Brown said when he was being interviewed that he said it had to be through the media. So is Lane and AJ talking about
Jalen
coaching
through
staff?
the media?
No, I mean the coaching staff.
It's like how they used to talk to Ben Simmons through the media. Brett Brown used to say, I wish I can't talk to him myself, but I wish Ben Simmons would shoot some threes. It would be really cool.
And then he wanted to shoot a three.
Wait.
Right, out of spite.
It sounds like Nick Nurse is doing that right now when he's like, I don't know when Embiid's going to play. You know what I mean?
By the way, I'm not going to name names, but we have one member of our studio audience, and she's on her phone. She's been on her phone. She's not even paying attention.
No, I think she's live tweeting this. I think she's live tweeting this.
No, I'm just messing with
she's
you.
promoting it.
We usually have zero members of our studio audience.
In the
You
house
should
like wearing
name names.
Sixers gear, which like threw me off. I'm like, did anyone even?
Yeah, that's
Four out
funny.
of 5.
That's funny that you
We're
bring
back,
that up
man.
though,
4 out of
because we have to, you have allegiances to Pittsburgh, and I know you have your reasons for your black and yellow garb, but it has to be called into question.
He's a big Wiz Khalifa fan.
Yeah, why on a Eagles Steelers week you would come here dressed like that? So why don't you go ahead and just explain to everybody why we should forgive you for this transgression?
You're handing the mic to me for like a little.
Yeah, go for it.
I am. We've
It's
talked
funny
enough
because-
about the Eagles.
This is cool. This is cool stuff. Spend a good 5 minutes. And
Think if
let
you
us
want to
know
go to
the
the
deal.
bathroom or anything, this is a good time. You know what I mean? Like Mark's going to be on one here. Well, you wanted Devin to beat you with the bat, so we got Mark to do it instead.
What I'm into does not have to be.
Yeah, no kink shaming,
Yeah, no
Jesse.
kink
He put it on the internet. What do you want from me?
It all comes full circle tonight. So this past Sunday, 3 days ago, Dave Parker.
Are you going to wait? Are you going to hold the Louisville Slugger throughout this whole time? Because it looks like you're about to whack Fink in the
I'm
fucking
scared.
face.
Like you're just like making jokes about it. I'm like, he might slip.
I'm fine with it.
That looks like a 39 ouncer right
Guy
there.
has a prop, man. Let him rock.
He's a good bat.
Can you let Mark cook? Go
You
ahead,
know what
Mark.
they say about big bats?
Let me cook. So this past Sunday, Dave Parker was elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And as my compadres here on the Pigeons know, he's been a very close friend of mine since I was a very young child. And it was the culmination of a lot of hard work behind the scenes of his former teammates and Hall of Famers and, all these people keeping his name out there. But the bottom line is all the work was done by Dave on the field. All the work was done in his career. He did it all. And so, did some people keep his name out there? Did people champion his cause? Sure. But the reality is he did the work. And he hasn't played a game in 33 years. Hasn't had a bat. Hasn't had a hit. And that's why these committees vote years later to try and correct wrongs. And they corrected a wrong on Sunday when they elected him to the Hall of Fame, when they elected Dick Allen, ex-Philadelphia Philly, to the Hall of Fame. And they got it right. They got it right late, but they got it right.
And they did get it right while he's still around.
And he is still around to enjoy it. As you guys know, he has Parkinson's disease, and I'm a big supporter of his foundation. He happens to be a Cincinnati native. The University of Cincinnati Gardner Science Center at their medical center is at the forefront of Parkinson's research. Go online, support the Dave Parker 39 Foundation, support the Gardner Science Center. They are at the forefront of Parkinson's research to try and cure this disease, or at least make inroads to helping those who are suffering live longer, live better.
But Mark, real quick, can you speak to the origination of your relationship with him and how you became a fan of his and what you personally did to help his cause in terms of the Hall of Fame?
Sure. So I was lucky enough that my mom's from Pittsburgh. Long story short, they had a chance to meet him and meet Willie Stargell in 1980, the year after they won the World Series in 1979. And God's honest truth, they just invited him and Willie Stargell over to our house for a barbecue. And this is back in the day when the players were eating boiled hot dogs and boiled hamburgers in the clubhouse. So the chance for a home cooked meal was like revolutionary. It was like, yeah.
Can I tell you why the name Willie Stargell resonates with me as a Philadelphia fan? Can you guess? It's only one reason.
Well, because he hit the longest home run ever in Vet Stadium.
And there was a star painted
in the 600 level.
Correct. And
Yeah,
I will
exactly
never
right.
forget that was attributed to Willie Stargell. That's it. Continue.
And
Carry on.
actually, it was a wooden plaque on the facade of the 600 level, and it got stolen by someone. And then they painted it on. I kid you not. So long story short, it developed this amazing friendship, and I had amazing experiences in clubhouses, Philadelphia, Yankee Stadium, Memorial Stadium of Baltimore, where I got to hang out with these guys, and I was a kid, and it was just like I was awestruck. But as I grew and as I became an adult, we've developed this amazing friendship. I'm very close to him and his wife. And so in 2014, I was lucky enough to be invited by them out to Cincinnati when he was inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. And I was introduced to another good friend of his, Joe Leo, out of Houston, Texas. And Joe was really good friends with Dave. And we decided after we met in 2014 that we would help champion his cause to the Hall of Fame. And so over the past 11 years, we have sought out teammates, coaches, managers, executives, Hall of Famers who support Dave's cause for the Hall of Fame. And I'm digging down in here. We put together this book that every time he was up for election, we put this together and we sent it out to the voters. And there's support in here. There's statistics. There's stuff, he ranks with Hank Aaron and Willie Mays and all these guys and all these stats and Tom Glavine, Dennis Eckersley, Andre Dawson, Orlando Cepeda, Rod Carew, I'm just, thumbing through this Wade Boggs, Johnny Bench,
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken, Roberto Alomar, guys who wrote letters and supported his cause. And we would put this together. This is what they had in their hands on Sunday because of us. And, again, maybe we ticked the meter a slight bit, but really the work was done by Dave. And Sunday night was, I didn't have, great expectations. This is his 4th time up on the committee vote. And he got elected. He got 14 out of 16 votes, which is a mandate. And it was a super emotional night. The first thing I thought of was my dad, because my dad is the one who, I hung with and in these clubhouses with these players. And the reason I brought the bat tonight is because
He wants to smash Fink.
Al Capone style.
Mitch and I were talking about this before the show. The National
Piece of
Baseball Hall
shit.
of Fame is a museum about baseball. And yes, it honors the best players of the game. And Dave Parker is one of the best players of the game. 2,712 hits, 339 home runs, 1,483 RBIs. He hit 290. He won 2 MVPs. He won 2 World Series. He won Silver Sluggers. It's so funny. Today, it's all flash, right? This guy took shit because he wore an earring.
Right.
He took shit because he had a beard. Today, an earring, these guys are wearing $500,000 worth of jewelry.
Let's
when
play
they
for the
walk up to
Yankees.
plate. And he was the first guy with the swagger. These guys were bad motherfuckers back in the 70s, Dave Parker and Dick Allen. This is a tree trunk. That's why I brought it. This is his bat from 1981. This wasn't even the biggest bat.
How much
he
is, what is
swung in
that,
his
36
career.
ounces?
It is
What do
a
you think?
36 ounce.
Yeah.
I think he swung a 38 at one point. Dick Allen swung a 40-ounce bat. Like, these guys were badass dudes who belong in the
What
Hall
did
of
Ruth
Fame.
swing?
Yeah, but the pitching's so much
60
harder
ounce.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ruth swung like a 46-ounce bat, like a toothpick.
exactly. And so, I digress a little bit, but I appreciate you giving me the mic. But this is
These
my
dudes were
entire
real.
life,
These
I
were
honestly
real
never
ball
thought this
players.
day would come. And for me personally, for my family, for just like the legacy of Dave Parker, it's really special. It was an emotional night. I'll be in Cooperstown in July. It'll be an emotional day.
We were all
It'll be an
happy
emotional
for you.
weekend.
Yeah,
And
I
That's
just
pretty cool
think,
to have a connection
listen, yeah.
to a player like it. I couldn't imagine anybody having. You actually put together a booklet with signed letters from how many Hall of Famers?
45.
From 45 Hall of Famers for his cause, just out of the goodness of your heart, because you're
Right.
friends
Well,
with them.
I mean,
And
It's
There's over
pretty
300
cool
letters
thing.
in there, former players, teammates, just guys, just like guys who played with him. And everyone thought he should be in. And there's these weird votes. And, for the other guys that should be in, for the Eric Allens in football, just like put these guys in when they can
Yeah.
enjoy it.
And,
I feel bad
well,
for things.
here's the worst
season
part
enjoy
is I talked to you about this earlier. Was I love that Dick Allen got in, and I know young kids don't really care, but my dad was a huge Dick Allen fan, and he used to tell me how dominant he was. He's like, the fact that he's not a Hall of Famer, it's a crime. Like, there's no way he shouldn't be in there with some other guys they put in. And he died in 2019, and now they put him in this year. Like, it's cool. It's what he deserves, but man, let him take this in and bask in the Hall of Fame voting. And like, it wasn't fair to do it 4 years after he died. He was the same guy. No stats changed. Same with Dave Parker. Now he's got Parkinson's. He should have lived his adult life as a Hall of Famer and been able to go to all these speaking engagements and signings and say, hey, I'm a Hall of Fame dude. But these baseball writers are weird gatekeepers. It's like, this is a museum. These are the best baseball players. We have to put them on a pedestal, and they try and keep them out and put them in with their veterans. It's so corny, man.
Yeah,
I hate it.
yeah.
Well,
One of the
But
best guys-
congrats to Dave.
Thank
Congrats to Dick Allen. I love that they eventually get in, but I wish they could have enjoyed it like like you said, Dave's got Parkinson's now, man. Like he can't make the tours and go around and be celebrated like he should be as a top baseball player.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the best guys that I met throughout the process, as you guys know, we spent all this time going around, was Chipper Jones. I never played with him.
Yeah, I can't.
Of course.
Larry.
I
Of
gotta
course.
tell you,
Is that what he's going to wear next?
His name's Larry.
Larry Jones
Larry.
was one of the best guys. He never played against Dave Parker, never played with Dave Parker, but he respected, as you say, Meech, the history of the game, the place these guys held in the game, and the fact that, like, when they played, it's way harder.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing on concrete AstroTurf. They're playing hurt. If they don't play, they don't get paid. If they don't play, they don't get signed the next year. These guys now, I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but they would be the first ones to tell you it's easier. You know, masseuses, dietitians, first-class food. These guys from the 60s, 70s, 80s, they're freaking hardcore. The Dale Murphys that should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, these guys that really are part of the history of this game. And again, I don't need to take up too much of your time.
The Lenny Dykstras.
Yeah, you know, it's just.
I just
it
want to
all
say,
comes
how
full circle.
dare you make us feel sorry for a Pittsburgh guy in the Pittsburgh Steelers Eagles? How
Yeah,
dare
I mean,
you,
it
Mark.
was the timing on this was kind of.
But thank you for your service, dude.
Yeah.
That's
I
respect.
gotta say,
man.
this is like an all-American movie where at the end he's giving a speech and he looks down at you and he winks at you and then it ends. You know, I think it's
Get cut off and we go back to the regular program.
right. I mean, it's just no, it's
This also
fantastic. You
this
did a good
also
job.
probably makes no sense to anybody, but Dave Parker always reminded me of Eric Sermon. They were both like bearded black dudes
The
with
rapper?
green eyes.
That
Yeah.
definitely does only make
They,
sense.
they had
to
a very
few
similar
people.
facial.
Very few
features.
people. All right. Well, that's beautiful. Mark, we still question
Shout out
your
EPMD.
allegiances here because you did mention that you have
Birds.
a parent that was from Pittsburgh and you've campaigned for Pittsburgh Pirates in the Hall of Fame and you're wearing black and yellow and the Eagles are playing, got me, black and yellow. Anyway, the Eagles are playing the Steelers on Sunday and we have questions, but this was such a nice, heartwarming story that we are just going to, put that aside. We're going to give you a hall pass because, this was the time that
Just-
you
Hall
had
of Fame.
Hall of
Don't
Fame.
try and convince us Ben Roethlisberger is a good person, please.
Exactly.
Not buying that.
Yeah, we're not buying
that.
Squirrel says
I agree.
a
Squirrel.
Mark spin-off podcast. That could be fun. It could be fun. We could do it from the Good Heart
To have a good
roof
heart
deck all summer.
podcast.
I think the world deserves that.
Two
I
words,
really do.
good heart.
Okay, so we have a few minutes left here on my fictitious clock that we need to maintain. And I
You want
thought,
to do real quick Meech Bad Beats? It'll take me 2
oh
seconds.
yeah.
Last night
Yeah.
I had a
Here we go.
9-leg parlay. Every leg hit. You know who I needed? Luka Doncic to get 20 fucking points in an NBA Cup game. The motherfucker scored 16. Didn't even care out there. I'm done with Luka. Fuck you, Luka. I'm fucking done with you. You're complaining to the refs the whole game, dude. Just your teammates obviously
Luka.
hate you. They stopped passing you the ball because you're a little fucking bitch. Fuck you, Luka. Score 20 points when I need you to. You would have won me $600. Instead, my kids are going to have a bad Christmas. Luka Doncic, you're the bad
Grinch-ass
beat of the
Luka.
week.
the meat.
Suck
Wait.
my dick.
Oh my
I don't,
god.
Whoa.
I don't need to tease City Pigeons 2025, but Meech, you may or may not have a chance to bring that up personally with someone behind the scenes.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's
We're not
right.
gonna work
Yeah.
Cuban on?
Who we saw at the event this
That's
week.
crazy.
No, but like Meech's expletive meter, if you watch on the shows, it just keeps going up, which corresponds
I
to
was
the
gonna
number
say
of
with-
beers
right,
that
right,
he's
right.
having.
And he made the pit stop.
I will say cheers to you, Meech, because I also had Luca in a 7-leg parlay, and he's the only one that didn't hit, but it was just no sweat bet, so I got my money.
Oh,
That
no
still
sweat,
sucks.
no
I
sweat.
would win.
All right. Thank you.
He's a prick. He don't care about basketball.
Meech's bad beat
Fuck
of the
you.
week. Meech's bad.
I
beat.
care about basketball.
Okay.
I have fucking basketball ethics.
All right.
So I
So
have a code.
last thing I want to do here,
The
because
code.
I came up with this idea because something struck me the other day. I was I'm good. It wasn't lightning.
And what was it?
No, so I was sitting there thinking about a scenario where I was actually watching online. I was watching the Preston and Steve show. It was actually after the event because Connor and Chris were doing an interview the morning after. And this has occurred to me over the years. The Preston and Steve show is, I think, the #1 morning show in Philadelphia, and it has been
Probably has been
for years and years
I've
and
never
years.
listened
And
to
can
it.
I
Since
okay,
Steiner went
okay,
to
and
Not
so
sure Devin's been on the morning show.
and so
until
there you go, Mark. There you go. And the truth is, I know nothing, literally nothing about the Preston and Steve show, other than I've gotten to know Marissa Magnato over the years, and she's fantastic. I know nothing about that show. And it's only because, for some reason, I'm a psycho who needs to listen to people talk about sports all the time. And it's interesting because, I was in a band for many years. I have a music background, but like when I'm here in Philadelphia, I have to listen to the radio to hear what people are saying about sports. And so it got me thinking, that is the one Philadelphia thing that is huge in Philadelphia that I am like totally just coincidentally out on. It's not even like a decision. I'm not even like that sucks. I just have never really paid attention to that. So I pose the question to you guys. Are there other things in Philadelphia that are like adopt everybody, they're huge things, and you, for one reason or the other, are just, not into it or out on them? So I wonder if anyone had any good ones. Mark, I know you had one, even though you've had a lot of time. Does anyone else have one? Did you? Let's go back to Mark. Fine. We're going back to Mark. Mark,
Well,
have a day, Mark.
I thought of 3 things.
Ooh, I didn't ask for 3.
I know. You always do this. You make me pick one. I'm going to gloss through. It's not that I'm not into them. It's that I was like never spent a ton of time at Delilah's, but I hear it's a great time.
Okay.
Number 2,
Delilah's catching strings.
Taylor pork roll. Like, not that I don't like it, just never been super into it. But my real thing that people love that I've like never really spent a lot of time is the Christmas Village in Love Park.
I was there Sunday with the family.
Okay. And I will say this. I agree with you.
He's Jewish.
I used to. Okay, that's true. He doesn't even celebrate Christmas. I never went there. I'm sure. By the way, haven't they tried to make it like a holiday thing?
Yeah,
And
it has nothing to do with your
Okay.
religious
Can I say
I
this?
did the ice skating.
I
and
like the
everything.
ice skating, but I don't go across the street to the
All
village.
right. So I would typically be fully out on a scenario like that because it's like way too many people. It's crazy. But I did go there with my kids like the last year or two. It is a great place to bring your kids and have them pick out like random tchotchke stuff they want. You can get for the stockings or like cheap gifts. So I just would say maybe you reconsider that. Go down there, let the kids. Ben, by the way, they have these booths where they have people who make Philadelphia sports artwork. It's very good. Ben would lose his mind. Wouldn't he lose his mind? He would want like everything in there. Maybe you don't go. I don't know. But that's a good example. Christmas Village. And related to your point on pork roll, you really missed it, I think, because for me, it's Scrapple. I've never eaten Scrapple. Is that yours?
I never had Scrapple in my life. And my wife loves it. My kids love it. It's always cooked in my house. They have that little, they slice it real thin and put it on the pan.
It has to be cooked good.
I hate it.
See,
Like, I mean, not that I hate it. I never tried it. It looks like some ground. It looks like a fruit loaf
Up here.
a meat fruit loaf.
What about Spam? Is that a Philly thing?
No,
that's
that's like
Hawaii.
yeah, it's like
Well,
Hawaii.
what Tom just said, you have to have it cooked right. I had Scrapple multiple times.
I'm
and every
not
time
like
I've
a,
had
uh,
Scrapple,
If
it's
too
everyone
thick-
tells me it has to be cooked right, but every time I've had it,
Just the look of it, I'm out. I'm out.
I had it at least 5 to 7 times, and every time I've had it, it sucked. Everyone tells me where to go to get it. It stinks.
Wait, can I tell you the funny thing? I've never eaten Scrapple only because it was described to me as like a random collection of stuff, which is funny because I've had many hot dogs in my life. And I
Yeah,
act like a
it's the
hot
same
dog is
shit.
like,
Like a big
That's just
an
7-Eleven
occasion.
a hot
every
dog
day.
is a definite
Italian
upgrade.
sausage, you're in,
Yeah.
right?
So
All right, Tom, what were you going to
I
say?
got
Did you have
one,
something to
too.
say about Scrapple?
Oh, you skipped.
No, Scrapple's delicious, but it does have to be. It can't be thick, and I think that turns a lot of people off.
I like it. thick,
To
though.
your point, though, to your question about Philly shit, I have never. I've lived here for 25 years now, and the whiz on a cheesesteak,
You're out
I
of your
think,
mind.
is
Disagree.
the most overrated thing.
You're out of your
Disagree.
Because
mind.
you go there, you get the cheesesteak, it has the whiz, and by the time you take one bite, the shit is all liquefied. It's all over the
You're
place.
off the line.
It
You're
is
out of your
no
mind.
good.
Get
I don't
out of here.
It's
disagree.
no good.
Get
Hold on.
out of here.
Wait. Let's go to
No,
Fink
no.
on this. Fink
What?
on the whiz.
They don't even
Start
have
on the whiz.
cheesesteaks at Fink's.
Start on the whiz,
No, but
Fink.
I love cheesesteaks, and Cheese Whiz is fucking amazing. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not. I don't care if it's fake cheese.
If you don't
Guess
eat it
what?
within
American
10
cheese is
seconds,
fake. You guys love that
It
shit.
liquefies,
Cooper
and you're just
Sharp,
eating cheese
American
juice.
cheese. What?
You're just eating cheese juice if you don't have it within.
No,
like,
you know, cheese with
with American cheese on the cheesesteak.
That's
and
all
it-
American,
it will-
right? Is that
or
what
you
it's
go to
called?
Cosme's at 8th and Dickinson, and you get the El Diablo with.
Here's some
yeah.
shit everyone should know, that Cheese Whiz no longer produces the real Cheese Whiz in a can. That was, I think, one of those South Philly cheesesteak places, either Geno's or
I think
Pat's,
they moved the bags.
bought them all out.
I think they moved the bag.
Yeah, they moved
Because
the
I think
bags,
restaurants sort
but
of make bags of it.
it tastes totally different.
Yeah, you need that.
Cheap- It's like, you remember when they switched animal crackers, the Barnum animal, and they took them out of the wax paper and into just like a regular bag? They fucking sucked. Put them back in the wax paper, man. Like, what's everyone doing? Like,
Okay. All I gotta say is
they're
this.
making
Wait.
good shit turn bad.
All right. On the real quick. On
Cheese
the,
Whiz doesn't exist in a can anymore. It's only in bags,
But you still
and it
enjoy
sucks.
So
No,
you don't get Cheese Whiz anymore?
I do, but only on fries, not on steaks anymore.
I would prefer every day a gooey, moist cheesesteak over one
Pause.
that is dry with the meat falling out of it, where the cheese has not absorbed any of the meat. So I am pro cheese.
Now
Whiz.
listen,
Now, I will say this.
I had a dry cheese.
Nobody makes a dry cheese.
I think
If you make a
Kroger's
dry
wrong.
cheese steak,
You're
never
really
go
wrong.
back there
Made a
again.
dry
Yeah, never
cheesesteak.
go back there.
All right.
Yeah, don't go back.
Provolone on a cheesesteak sucks.
Order in a quart. Order in a quart.
No, seriously. Okay, Fink, your Philadelphia thing.
Yes, you need the bag.
Yeah, all right.
As long as it's away from me. The
All right.
mummers. I don't get the
Oh.
mummers. Never been there. It doesn't look fun. It doesn't look appealing.
You don't
Okay.
like parties?
It's a bunch of guys.
And racism?
dressed up. No, because I don't like the guys that are like blah 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 blah. But you guys dress up in drag and go down.
Well, that's
and-
what I'm
and
saying.
you-
That's
and you
what's always
prance
killed
around,
me.
but,
Wait,
like,
can I tell you?
there's a lot of
Doesn't look like
irony
fun.
going on.
Yeah, it's just
So you know
it's a
this.
South Philly thing, man.
Wait.
I love the mummers. I
Hold
love
on.
South
be
Philly
in the
people.
crowd. I want to be around the crowd.
Hold
where
on.
People look like drunk loads. No offense to you, mummers. It looks like a fun time, but.
Can I tell you guys? All right, so hold on. Last year,
We are anti-drunk loads. All
right. Come on.
I'm a mummer defender.
Can I tell you this? Last year, for the first time in my life, very uncharacteristically, I joined a group of people that participate in the mummers. And not only did I participate in the mummers, I was in the Froggy car.
I saw.
Okay.
I saw.
Now, part of me was like, oh, I don't know, but then I just rolled with it. Can I tell you? We ended up standing. First of all, you have to get like mobilized at like 6 in the morning. It's wild. Radical Squirrel was with me, dude. He knows what's up. We ended up like standing outside of City Hall at 9 in the morning. You know, we were drinking beers. I've never seen so many people urinating like down the alleys. It was like every little crevice, there was a guy
So
standing
hot.
against it. It was unbelievable. But you know, in the moment where we like charged down to City Hall, we had the umbrellas. I was dancing, and it was like,
Charge down. What is this, January 6th?
no. Now that's funny. Now that's funny. Now that's funny. But listen, I'm telling you, as we danced around City Hall, and then we went on Broad Street. I had a great time. And then the rest of the day, we went all over the city from bar to bar. And I was with great friends, and then
Smelling each other.
we ended
It's
up on
different. In
we-
Second Street,
no, listen.
it's different.
we ended up on 2 Street.
Are you going to do it again this year? That's the question.
So I think I'm actually going to be in Florida, so I won't be able to do it. I'm a little bit upset, but it's a big commitment. The biggest problem I have with the mummers is it's on the 1st, right? So like the next day, depending on how it falls, like you're supposed to actually like go back to work and be done with the holidays. So like going hard on the 1st, it extends your holiday. It's totally crazy.
Although this year it is on a Wednesday, so you know you have that nice 2-week break.
Yeah, but like, okay. Last year, the funny part is I ended up going home because my dad needed something. I showed up. I walked into my dad's house in all of my mummer's shit. And I had painted my face like Braveheart, you know, but it was all smeared. And he just looked at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? And that was a new low in the relationship. But I had a great time doing it.
That was a
And
new low.
I think the mummers is a fun time. It's a Philly thing, man. We got to stick to it. That's where I'm at on that.
I agree. Any
Right.
Philly tradition, I'm for. I don't care if it's fucked up or the origins are bad. It's a Philly tradition. Who gives a shit?
Sucks.
Beautiful.
I
Squirrel
do
says-
recommend the
I wouldn't do it. I
Pats and
wouldn't.
Geno's to people. I do that. I said, hey,
There's nothing
if you
wrong-
want the
that's
experience,
There's nothing wrong with passing.
if you want
No,
the experience,
nothing.
you have to go to
Yeah.
you have to go stand there and
The thing
feel
is,
it.
it's a tourist spot, but there's still.
How much longer? This has
Think,
been
how
going
about
on a
putting
while.
Whiz, could you create a hoagie at Fink's with
No.
Whiz on it?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Can I?
All right,
Can
hold
I
on.
say
Let's let
something
Meeks bring it
before-
back because we do have to wrap up, guys.
Can I
Get
say
out of
something before we wrap up here?
Yep.
What?
Before we wrap up, I was thinking about it today. I think Angelo's by themselves brought up the food level in Philadelphia's pizza shops
Absolutely.
to an insane level where they're all trying to match them.
Danny, call me
Because,
back.
yo, seriously, Danny, call Tom.
Come on.
You need him on your
Tired of
team.
chasing you.
Yo,
Come on,
I
Danny.
I had Stella's Pizza in the Northeast. It's on Willits today. I ordered it at lunch. I never had it before, but I heard good things about it. It's a pizza shop. I think it's been open since 2009. I never had it before. It was fucking incredible, man. And I got it in the car, and it smelled like Angelo's when I put it in the car.
They also
And I was like, yo, they're using it. Like, everybody's using good shit now. Nobody wants to be a cheap pizza place.
Well, they also
Because
want to
you
charge you
can't.
30
Yeah.
bucks
the
a
thing
pie.
is, they've been getting a lot of love with cheesesteaks too.
Yeah, well, I got the cheesesteak as well, and that was incredible.
I'm a cheesesteak.
You also
Yeah.
got the cheesesteak?
I got the well, I got
love cheesesteak. I fucking hate hoagies, man.
I was about to pick up my the kids from school, so they were hungry. So I got a cheesesteak,
Natty Market knows.
cut up into slivers, and
Natty Northeast, he knows.
Matty Market's my boy.
Let's go.
What'd he say? It's
That was
good.
the truth.
Read the screen, Meech.
I can't see it.
It's
man.
up there.
I'll
It's
spell
gigantic.
No, we just can't read.
Jesse,
Great place. And I walked in there. It's lunchtime. It's like an old school pizzeria. They're all fucking making shit in the back. It's like the kind of place I love. And it was packed.
And you're
Got my
giving credit
order.
to Angelo's.
No, but I think it's
Everyone had to up their game.
everybody's trying to up their game because of Angelo's.
Well, I think the
which
truth is,
awesome.
Meech, if we're being honest, it used to be like every pizza was $10. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, people are like, wait, they have a gourmet. They're charging $20. I gotta, you know,
Throw some spinach
I-
leaf on your pizza.
Right.
Like, here's $35
There you
for
go.
a large
Artisan.
pizza.
It's
Their
artisan.
pizza's $16. I'd rather pay $16
solid.
for a
That's decent.
pizza
It's not bad.
than $12 for a shitty
Is
pizza.
it a large?
Large.
Oh, that's
Dude.
legit
Yeah.
large.
I put it on my Twitter. Go check the Meech One Twitter. I put the
Oh,
Check it.
I did see that. You gave it 8 out of 10.
yeah.
Why didn't you not get them to do a deal with us for a promo code you could have given out on the podcast? Think about this.
Why didn't you
Cut that
bring
out.
the pizza with
Listen, I didn't want to scare these people. It was the first time I
Hey,
picked
I'm
up the
like,
pizza.
"Hey,
What if I
this
hated
podcast,
it?
give me pizza."
What if I brought it home and hated the shit? Maybe next time I go, I'll be like, and I love on the slip you get, it said new customer. So it's almost like, yo, make sure these motherfuckers are getting the good
I'm gonna
shit.
cut you this clip and go in and show it to them, and then we're off to the races.
I'm
Big
never-
bucks,
I would
baby.
never do that.
Let's
Jesse,
go.
One question: Is Meech so legitimate Philly that there's nothing in Philadelphia that he hasn't participated in because he didn't have a thing?
No, I had Scrapple.
He had Scrapple.
Never had Scrapple.
Wait, what was that
You
thing?
Sort of jumped on top of.
I
Wait,
never-
hold on.
Meech
What was?
has never been in the
Here-
naked bike
Yeah,
ride.
here's a. I never participated in a naked bike ride or dinner on Blanc.
Yes.
Those are two things I never.
Yo, I think honestly, wait. I'm
and
gonna.
I never
hold on.
participated. I
Stop.
never participated in an orgy behind the Rosewood Inn, behind a dining car on Frankfurt Ave. They used to hold fucking orgies
Okay,
back
Meech.
there.
Okay, Meech. That's enough.
Sorry, I have.
And
All right, wait.
they used to advertise them in the Northeast Times.
I have an idea.
An
And
orgy?
Jesse- and
They
Jesse
didn't
has
advertise.
Jesse has been a mother and gone to dinner on
They
Blanca.
advertised them.
Truth be told,
I never went.
do not judge me.
Pretty
I have
much.
never been to dinner on Blanc, but now listen. Now
But he
I
was
am
at the orgy.
determined. I will submit to get whatever. You got to like submit to get in there, right? I'm going to do it, and we are going to go as a group to dinner on Blanc. You bet your ass we are.
I don't
Have it at the coop.
I don't have all white anything except my tighty whities and an undershirt.
Perfect.
So that's what I'm wearing.
That's
Now
what
you
you're
have a
showing
white
up
Philly
in.
shirt.
You probably have a nice white beater where you put on like
Yeah.
socks, white sneakers.
All right.
They're
That's
called
what I'm
A
going
shirts.
I'm in.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't say that anymore.
Folks, that was a good time. Always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Got into a lot of good
If
stuff.
anybody on earth held in for this hour and 13 minutes,
It looks like a lot of
What do you-
people
come on, you
did.
got
Text
your boy
me.
Matty Market out there.
I'll Venmo you $50.
No,
You're my favorite
I
person.
won't.
on
Hold on,
earth.
I
I'm
won't.
texting Beach right now.
don't. You hung in.
Can you just give
I
me
just-
And that's including.
Sasha's been here in studio the whole time,
She said it was just like, hey man,
Taking
watch the
direct-
episode.
taking direct shots from you. While she's
Okay.
here.
By the
Okay.
way, thanks to Sasha for coming in from the West
Shout out
Coast.
Sasha. She's one of
Great to have you back,
OGs.
man.
She's here for the holidays. We'd love to have her. Thank you, babe.
brought cold rain from Seattle?
All right. Also, if you're listening up to this point and you're interested, we're going to have a holiday soiree next, what is that, Thursday?
It's going to be a bang.
Next Thursday, the 19th. So if you're interested,
I heard we have some Fox 29
yeah,
celebrities.
we
coming.
have some potential
Yeah,
heavy
I'll
hitters.
Be there. You can see me on
from the Fantastic Show. We have some potential heavy hitters coming in, and look, we're going to see a huge game
Mark
against.
from Bridesburg. You're the
Shout out.
motherfucking
Mike,
man.
Mark, not Mark.
Oh my God, I can't wait to wear these.
It's Mike. It's
His
Mike. You
name's
said Mark.
dude.
Okay,
That's what I
listen,
said, Mike from
You said
Bridesburg.
Mark.
I did not say Mark.
You absolutely said Mark.
check the tape.
Rewind that shit.
Okay, real quick. We got a huge.
It's my name. I know his fucking
You
name.
called him fucking Mark.
We got a huge game coming up Sunday. We'll see how the Birds
Go
do.
Birds.
We'll see if the passing game gets unlocked. We'll
Russell
see.
Wilson is a
hopefully-
bitch. We are going to kill the Steelers.
We'll see. Hopefully, a couple games out of Embiid. Maybe the Phillies make a couple moves. We'll get
Eagles
into that.
country. Let's ride.
Either way, thank you guys so
Go
much for
Flyers.
joining us.
We love
Like,
you.
subscribe, come back next time, and everybody have a good rest of
Bid
the
you
week.
a Jew.
Go
my other favorite
Birds.
thing was the union. I've never
Oh,
known.
was that?